What's up, beautiful babies? It's the last regular season week. Most, well, half the league. Half the league is pretty much decided. Well, let's just look at it. What do I know? I've been drinking. Let's see. As we always start, we'll start with the recap from week 12. Then we'll get into our updated standings, rankings, and last week, final week of the regular season matchups and predictions. First matchup last week, myself versus Jason. I was able to squeeze this one out 136 to 132. My top performers were Josh Jacobs with 27.5 points, Kyler Murray with 20.4, 20 points, and Sun God, love him, 18.5 points. Jason got 23 out of Nico Collins, 21 out of Patrick Mahomes, 21 out of Michael Pittman Jr., but the rest of the lineup wasn't enough to get it done. Sorry, Jason. Sorry you took two L's to me. Sorry you're going to miss the playoffs. Um, but we'll see you next year. The next matchup was JT versus Brent. JT's been on a bit of a hot streak. I'm 11-1. Jason's 5-7. Next matchup, JT versus Brent. JT won 137 to 129. He's moving up to 7-5. He's fighting for the 3 seed. The 2 seed he's not gonna be able to get. We'll show you just because there's two guys that are 8-4, and they're playing each other, so they can't both lose. So JT's gonna be in at the 3 seed at the highest. I don't know how the math works if he would to lose, but like I said, he's on a hot streak. Brent's 4-8. He is mathematically eliminated from the playoffs. He still has a shot at the Sacco, but I would say of the three guys that are in the Sacco, he's got the best odds of not making the Sacco because he does have the extra victory. Um, JT had 26 points out of Tony Pollard, 25 out of Mike Evans, 23 points out of the Dolphins defense. Good God Almighty. Brent had 26 points out of Raheem Mostert, 24 points out of Chuba Hubbard, and 22 out of Debo Samuel. The next matchup, Fat versus Trent. Um, Trent won 138 to 133. Let's go. Something tells me this was a Lando pick of the week. Trent was the lock of the week, and he held it down. Trent's 8-4. Fat's 4-8. Fat's out of the playoffs, mathematically eliminated. Um, J- Jace Fat made a trade right before he played Trent. He traded Dak Prescott and Blues a tight end, pretty good tight end, I think, for Brian Robinson, which was an interesting trade. And the fact that he was playing Trent makes it pretty. Dak Prescott put up 32 points on Trent's side. He was the highest scorer of the matchup, maybe of the whole week. I don't know. Alvin Kamara had 20. Jalen Waddle had 19. On Fat's side, he had 31 out of Bijan, 25 out of Derrick Henry, and 23 out of Keenan Allen. The guy that really screwed him was Josh Dobbs. He traded Dak Prescott. Figured Dobbs could get him 10 points to get the victory. I think he got 6, and Fat lost by 4. So that's how it goes. Trent is going to be fighting for the 2 seed. So congratulations. The auto drafters at the top of the league. Well, near the top of the league. Next matchup, Jordan versus Marshall. Marshall was my crying cat face emoji upset of the week. My guy ain't let me down. He has not let me down. He won one high score of the week, 178 to 164. Tough for Jordan. He puts up the second highest score of the week. Problem is, he played the highest score of the week. And Marshall had 42 points out of Kyron Williams, 34.5 out of Jalen Hurts, 24 points out of Devonta Smith. Jordan's side, he had 40 points out of Josh Allen, 30 points out of Isaiah Pacheco, 25 points out of Tyreek Hill. Just wasn't quite enough. I mean, he put up 164 points. What can you say against the guy? Sorry, that was a tough one. Jordan's 8-4. He's going to be battling. He's actually playing Trent. for the 2 seed. We'll look at that here in just a minute. Marshall with a victory is he's right there in the thick of things for the playoffs. He gets a if he wins, I'm pretty sure he's locked in. So and hey, he just put up the highest points of the week, so I'm sure he's feeling pretty good for this last week matchup. Next matchup, Scott versus Alex. This is a close one. We did pick Alex to win, and he did 138 to 127. Scott is 3-9. He is right there in the Sacco. Him and Dan are both going to be 3-9. We'll look at Dan here in just a minute, but Alex 7-5. Right there in the thick of things of the playoffs. I think he is. If he's not locked in, he's all but locked in. There's probably some math or something points wise, but I think he's in. McCaffrey had 36 points. Zay Flowers 23 points. Travis Etienne 18 points. Scott had 31 points out of C.J. Stroud. 27 out of Ramondre Stevenson. 13 out of Brandon Ayuk. And the last matchup of the week, Dan versus Frank. Dan needed to get this victory, especially well, not Scott lost anyways, but if Dan had lost, he would have had the Sacco wrapped up. He got the victory. He's 3-9. He won 125 to 107 versus Frank. Frank is 6-6. Frank had Olave with 18 points, Brandon Cooks with 17, and AJ Dillon with 15. Dan had 20 out of James Cook, 17 out of Garrett Wilson, 17 out of Tank Dell. So he was able to get the job done. And now it's going to be down between Dan, Scott, and technically Brent, yes, as well. Technically Fat too, but somebody's going to have to put up like 350 points for Fat to be worried about getting the Sacco. So that was last week. Let's look at the new week, new rankings. We did have a little bit of a shakeup near the top. Bottom's pretty similar. It's Dan at 12, Scott at 11, Brent at 10, Fat at 9, Jason 8, Frank 7, 6 Marshall, 5 Jordan, 4 Alex, 3 Trent, and the big jump JT. He went from 5th to 2nd. He's been putting up some points. He's on a nice little win streak, so Jason's terrified of his team. He's already told me he's going to win the league. So, number 2, that's what you get. All right, congratulations. Let's look at. Oh, let's have those picks work out for me. Last week we were 4-2. I got mine wrong. Jason screwed me, and I believe we got Frank over Dan wrong. We got that one wrong too. Got both the locks, and we also got the crying cat face emoji. So, way to go, me. Week 13. Like I said, last week of the season, we still have. I think we've got 8 guys currently competing for 6 playoff spots. Well, that's not true. Let's go look at it real quick here. Standings. 1, 2, 1, 2. Maybe okay. 3 teams are confirmed in the playoffs right now. That would be myself, Jordan, and Trent. So it doesn't matter what happens. We're in the playoffs. I am secured at the 1 seed. Winner of Trent and Jordan will be the 2 seed, and then from there it can get a little murky. JT is 7-5. So is Alex. You think both of those two will make it in? That gets us at 5, which means that last spot. It looks like it's going to come down to Marshall and Frank. They're both 6-6. What do the points look like on here? Points. Yeah. Points wise, like even if JT loses, he's got the second most points in the league, so he should have a tiebreaker, unless he just has a horrible last week. Alex Marshall has more points than him, so there is a world there where Alex loses, Marshall wins, outscores Alex, and he's in. Frank needs to win. There's no other way around it. He's got to get a victory, and then I think he either needs. Well, he definitely needs one of these other guys to lose, and potentially have less points than him as well. If Marshall loses and Frank wins, he's in. If they both win, that's where Frank could be in some trouble because Marshall has more points scored. But yeah, pretty cool. Three are locked in, so then we got another one, two, three, four, three, four. Yeah, four teams fighting for the last three spots, and then four teams. Hey, you had a season, you know. Shit happens. We get it. We get it. Y'all will all be back next year. Let's take a look at Week 13 matchups. I'm gonna be playing Brent. I made a trade towards the end of the season, which isn't going to help me at all this week. I don't know what we're going to do, honestly, but let's take a look. Brent, he is he's going to be rolling out Trevor Lawrence, Chuba Hubbard, Raheem Mostert, Debo Samuel, Rasheed Rice, Logan Thomas, and DK Metcalf. I've currently got Lamar Jackson on bye, Brees Hall, who's questionable, Devon Achan, questionable, Amon St. Brown, AJ Brown, questionable, Sam Laporta, and Christian Kirk in the flex. Also, my defense is on bye. I don't have backups at QB or defense currently. I mean, I don't know. It's tough to drop guys, and since I have the one seed locked up, we may just let the buys roll. I don't know. If someone goes to IR, I imagine we'll fill one of the spots. But other than that, I'm not trying to give these guys up to you guys. I know what you guys are doing. You guys are gonna snake them. So, again, I'm at this point. It's playoff wins or bust. So this week is irrelevant. So we'll see how it goes. Matchup wise, if we can get some guys in there. Next matchup, Fat and Jason, two guys that are eliminated, playing for I don't know, whatever you want to call it. Jason's got Patrick Mahomes, Najee Harris, Jerome Ford, Michael Pittman Jr., Nico Collins, Travis Kelsey, and Javonte Williams. Fat's going to be rolling out Russell Wilson, Bijan Robinson, Derrick Henry, Keenan Allen, questionable, Puka Nakua, Trey McBride, questionable, Zach Moss back in the lineup, and the guy he traded possible MVP Dak Prescott, Brian Robinson Jr. is noticeably on the bench. Um, I don't even think I gave my pick for the first matchup. I picked Brent to win. Um, the first matchup, the second matchup, I'm rolling with Fat. He's gonna end the season strong. When the wins don't matter, Fat will be there, collecting dubs. Next matchup of the week. There's no way around it. It's Trent versus Jordan. Winner gets a 2 seed. Trent has got Dak Prescott, Rashad White, Alvin Kamara, Cooper Kupp, Jalen Waddle, David Njoku. That was the other guy in the trade. And Jamar Chase. Jordan, Matt Stafford. Josh Allen is on a bye. Well, that hurts. Damon Pierce, backup. Isaiah Pacheco, Tyreek Hill, questionable. Adam Thielen, wide receiver 2, had a tough week last week as he bouncing back. Tyler Higbee, fresh off the waiver wire. Oh my God. Jordan's hurting. Miles Sanders is in the flex. Jonathan Taylor did have surgery. Stephon Diggs is on a bye. So's Jordan Addison. So's TJ Hawkinson. He doesn't really have much of a choice. So, good luck, Jordan, getting that 2 seed. We're picking Trent, and Trent's the lock of the week. So, the odds are against you because my locks have been hitting. We're 8-4 for the year. My upsets are even better, 9-3. Let's see who the upset was. Next matchup, Marshall versus Scott. Marshall wins and he's in the playoffs. So pretty sure that's how that'll work out. He's got Jalen Hurts, Kyron Williams, Joe Mixon, Devonta Smith, Demario Douglas questionable, Pat F, and David Montgomery in the flex. Scott, C.J. Stroud, Jalen Warren, Ramondre Stevenson, Cortland Sutton, DeAndre Hopkins, Evan Ingram, Brandon Ayuk, and the flex. We are picking Marshall on this one. He's looked pretty good the last few weeks. He's been my lock. He's been my upset. He's been my lock and my upset. He hasn't let me down. Um, Scott, though, he's fighting to not be the Sacco, so expect a close matchup here. Next matchup, Alex versus Dan. Dan is also fighting for the Sacco as well. He's got Kyler Murray, Zach Charbonnet, Devin Singletary, Garrett Wilson, Tank Dell, questionable, Jake Ferguson, and Mike Evans in the flex. Alex is rolling out Baker Mayfield versus the Panthers revenge game. Christian McCaffrey, Travis Etienne Jr., questionable. Marquise Brown, questionable. Curtis Samuel, Cade Otton, and Jameer Gibbs. So, interesting week for Alex. Um, Dan was the guy that I made a trade with. It was pretty clear what Dan's end goal was. He's tied for last place. He doesn't want to be the Sacco. The guys he traded me, most of them were on bye. They're not going to help him not win this. He's not. They're not going to help him avoid the Sacco. So, may as well move him for what you can get. And he got Kyler Murray and Devin Singletary. I mean, Devin Singletary is the RB1 in Houston as far as I've seen. Kyler Murray's been a solid QB, so I think it helps him out a lot, and I think it helps him in this matchup versus Alex, and I think he's going to beat Alex, and that is why Dan is my crying cat face emoji lock. No, not a lock. Upset of the week. But they're basically locks because I'm 9-3. So Alex is probably sweating because he'll be 7-5, 7-6, still make the playoffs, but lower seeds, tougher road. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. Um, Last matchup of the week. I missed one here. Whoops. One, two, three, four, five. Yeah, I've been drinking. Let's go ahead and edit this real quick. And nope, not that one. Let's edit that one real quick. And JT over Frank. I think it'll be a close matchup. Frank wins, and I believe he's in the playoffs, so he's got some nice incentive there. JT wins, and he should have the 3 seed locked up with the amount of points he scored this year. He's got Justin Herbert, DeAndre Swift, Tony Pollard, CeeDee Lamb, Tyler Lockett, Taysom, Taysom Hill, tight end, Calvin Ridley in the flex. My man jumped on that roller coaster ride with Calvin. Hope that works out for you. Brock Purdy is QB for Frank. Glock Purdy, man. Love that name. Austin Eckler, AJ Dillon, questionable. Chris Olave, questionable. Brandon Cooks, George Kittle, T. Higgins, questionable. Questionable, questionable, questionable. We roll with JT because, like I said, he's been high. He's a 2 seed. He's number 2 in the rankings. He might not be the number 2 seed, but he's number 2 in the rankings. So that's it. We'll be back to do end of season recap. Maybe I'll do a little video. Just some fun season stats. Some things I'm sure everybody will like and love and enjoy and want to listen to. But that's it. Madden Curse. Love y'all. Hope you had a safe, happy Thanksgiving. Gained a couple pounds. You know what I'm saying? Hope you got some people in your family that can cook. Because I know most of y'all. Madden Curse.